We got to talk about the What the Hales segment. Jeremy Hales is a popular YouTuber, runs the popular YouTube channel What the Hales. He's suing everybody for a variety of things. And in a brand new amended lawsuit, he is suing you, Richard Luthmann, not me yet. I don't know if that's, I don't know why he's not suing me. I don't know. Given the marginal allegations against you, I would assume he'd find some marginal allegations against me. Now, he's got multiple lawsuits. One of the brand new ones had 10 people on it. Now it's got 11 people on it. When he filed the lawsuit, one of the defendants, Dave Helm, through his lawyer, Chris Gage, argued that it's so vague it needs to be improved. This is the so-called improved. I don't think it's any more vague. I've got your parts up. We'll read through them, but first, you were giddy when we were on Two Lees in a Pod a couple days ago. Are you still giddy, or are you like, man, it sucks being sued? Or
Initial happiness that I was brought into this because I'm going to get the counterclaim. I'm going to get the answer and counterclaim to this lawsuit in the tune of, at least $5 million against this guy, and he has it. He's got some money. So I'm going to basically take his money. I'm probably going to sue his lawyer too. And that becomes a trickier issue because there is no lawsuit with Jeremy Shock, or not Jeremy, but Randy Shock in it. There's a Jeremy Hales lawsuit. And so I could just walk into the court, answer, counterclaim, and get moving there and sue him and go to games. I talked to a few of my friends, and one of them actually told me, he's a big University of Miami fan like me. I graduated there in 2004 with one of my masters, the year that they won the national championship with Ken Dorsey and Frank Gore, Russell Parrish. He told me, man, boy, you go up to Gainesville, you go up to the swamp, and you go beat their ass. Right. And so, and I talked to another one of my friends who's a University of Florida guy, and he basically said, dude, this is like, you're going up to Gainesville, but you're not fighting the Gators. You're not playing the Gators. You're playing Ohio State University. So go the fuck up there and beat the shit out of them. Right. So everybody I've talked to has told me, go and beat him up. It doesn't matter where you do it. Maybe you might as well go to Gainesville and beat him up, silly in Gainesville, and have a good time doing it because he's an Ohio carpetbagger anyway. So I'm thinking about doing that. That's what the other thing I want to do is I want to sue Randy Shockett because I can make his life miserable too for filing this, and I can do that in my backyard because it's going to go to state court anyway if I bring him in because he's a Florida resident. His law firm's a Florida resident. But I could sue him here down in Lee County because of his actions against me and his law firm. And all it's really going to do is I might get something like nuisance value from him, but it will raise his malpractice premiums. So he has malpractice insurance, and maybe he pays $10,000 now. He'll be up to $25,000, or he'll be up to a lot more. It'll be astronomical. It goes up for the 5 years after you get sued, and you have to use that policy. So I might just do that to be a prick, to him, and it's worth it because any attorney that's doing this and is being co-opted by his client, but Jeremy Hales like this, and not using professional judgment and professional ethics, deserves to have everything he has coming to him. If there's a financial
all right, now you say he's unethical, but let's just take a look at the lawsuit, and maybe you're just lying and misleading, and this is an ethical and very meritorious lawsuit. So let's start in the beginning here. Luthmann's acts and Luthmann's furtherance of Weeks' scheme. Weeks is Lisa from Two Lees in a Pod, though her last name is not Weeks, but regardless, for the purpose of this lawsuit, it is because that's how they wrote it. On or about January 28, 2025, Luthmann wrote the following via email regarding Mr. Hales to the Anti-Defamation League, which states in part, quote, are you offended by Jeremy Hales, Matthew Louis, Louis Tugg, and Megan Fox's poisonous rhetoric, anti-Semitism, and wickedness? Did you write that to the Anti-Defamation League?
I wrote it to, I think, Randy Shockett and the Anti-Defamation League and all those other people. I copied Jeremy Hales.
Is there anything defamatory in asking the ADL if they are offended by his poisonous rhetoric and anti-Semitism?
No, because there's that little thing at the end of that sentence called a question mark. So,
right. But the presumption is that his rhetoric is poisonous, that he is an anti-Semite, and that he's wicked. Are you allowed to say his rhetoric is poisonous, anti-Semitic, and wicked, and not be sued?
I'm a journalist asking a question. Of course I could do that.
All right. Okay. You also, now, did you say this? Sometimes it's better to chase an ambulance or a dog bite case than to represent a cabal of despicable people who would condone dangerous attitudes that condone anti-Semitism, eugenics, and mass murder. No legal fee is worth the damage done to your soul. Did you send that to, why would you send that to the ADL?
That's an opinion, and it's my opinion. It's an opinion that many people have. That if you're a Jewish lawyer, would you take on Adolf Hitler as a client? That's
All
what
right.
they asked Dershowitz.
What has the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts determined is is an opinion actionable? Can I sue you for an opinion that I don't like of yours?
No, you can only be sued for the reporting of facts or the
All right,
allegation of fact. You'll be holding out facts. So you're saying
all right,
something true, necessarily, certainly.
all right.
That's
Let's keep going. I make a simple offer, and it's not much of an offer as a plea to your humanity. Please, Jeremy, Matthew, Megan, and your group, put the anti-Semitism to rest. Put the charged language to rest and all the rhetoric that smacks of, quote, eugenics and Tide Pods and dead children born to, quote, stupid parents and of denigration, humanization, and hatred. There are mile markers on a road that leads only to one place. I'm confused as to what is defamatory in that email.
that is that,
On or about January 26th, Luthmann wrote the following via email to the YouTube channel That Umbrella Guy, who creates online programming about Hales on his YouTube channel, which stated in part, I'm not like Megan Fox, who gets paid by Jeremy Hales for coverage in a combination of quid pro quo, traffic, sex, and or candy, in my learned opinion. Um, I don't know exactly what's defamatory there, but you can suggest that Megan is bowing down to Hales to get views, clicks, and some of his subscribers. I believe that is what's happening, but that's an assertion, and you can say that without being sued. Well, anyone can sue you for anything. I'll tell you where we're going ad hominem against Rich Luthmann won't get you. As bad as you say I am, as bad as the bullshit you can conjure up, I'm still not as bad as Jeremy Hales. I'm not an anti-Semite. I don't hate Jews. I don't know exactly what he means is defamatory there.
hey,
Um,
very
mhm,
true.
mhm. Right. Also in 2025, Luthmann posted a video, quote, revenge porn of Mr. Hales as Adolf Hitler, and then they count to it. That's called satire. That's protected. And you're personally posted in some hate group, and I guess that is defamatory. On or about January 26th, 2025, Luthmann wrote the following via email to the YouTube channel That Umbrella Guy. Luthmann and all defendants agreed to intentionally participate in a civil conspiracy among themselves with other individuals, the purpose of which was to, quote, commit one, violations of the Florida Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practices Act, two, the false advertising under the Lanham Act, and three, the tort of tortious interference with advantageous business relationships. Now, he asserts that you violated all of this. Having read the lawsuit, did he come up with specific facts or allegations as to how you violated any of these three acts?
No, he didn't do that. But it's not that I violated the acts. Actually, he's saying that it was involved in a conspiracy. And
Mm-hmm.
as we know, conspiracy has two elements that he has to prove with specificity. He has to prove that there was an illegal agreement or a harmful, a tortious agreement that would lead to a breaking of the law.
Mm-hmm.
The agreement was between people, and he says that there's an agreement between Luthmann and all these other people, but he doesn't say how the agreement occurred, when the agreement occurred, when the agreement began, when Luthmann decided to
Does
be
he
part.
need to say that now, or is he allowed to wait until discovery to show that?
No, Rule 8 is very clear that you have to talk about the conspiracy and the overt acts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the second element is the overt act. So he has to say that a conspiracy was formed on or about this date, and
Mm-hmm.
it continues to the present. And then the next, he has to say, Mr. Luthmann joined the conspiracy on or about this date under these circumstances. Then the third thing he has to say is, and in furtherance of the conspiracy, Mr. Luthmann made these overt acts, and they'll list all the overt acts. That's how, if you look at any RICO complaint that the federal government does under conspiracy, that's how it's listed. And so what they'll do is, and what they're trying to do is it's easier for a RICO case to go because what they'll say is let's say it's a mafia case. They'll say that Mr. Luthmann is a member of La Cosa Nostra. He's a member of the Gambino family of La Cosa Nostra. Then they'll have like 3 paragraphs that they always put in. La Cosa Nostra is a group of Italian mafia or Italian organized crime, and they'll talk about the historical findings of that group, the crime family, and they'll say that, well, he's trying to make a crime family out of thin air. He's trying to make this anti-Hales ecosystem into a crime family. And that's fine if he wants to make it into a crime family, but he doesn't get the benefit to say it's a crime family the same way that it would be with organized crime, with the Bloods, with the Crips, with the Russian Mafia, with La Cosa Nostra. He has to actually do the work in his allegations and detail the anti-Hales ecosystem, right? And they have to say how that's a racketeer-influenced organization, or how it's a conspiracy, just a very basic conspiracy. He has to define the agreement or the organization.
He claims, for instance, that Dave Helm hosted Bruce Matskin, those are 2 defendants, on his YouTube channel. Isn't that evidence of a conspiracy? Yesterday, we went on with Lisa, who's another co-defendant. Isn't you appearing with Lisa evidence of a conspiracy?
How is it evidence of conspiracy if you're engaging in a conversation? You're engaging in a media appearance, conversation, First Amendment protected activity. That's if that's part of the conspiracy, he has to explain how that's part of the conspiracy, because there's nothing there that's wrong. There's nothing there that's illegal. Then everybody that sits on the couch with Jimmy Kimmel or with Greg Gutfeld, or Stephen Colbert, they're engaged in a conspiracy potentially. You have to flesh out, what the illegal or the harmful part of this conspiracy is. You have to give us, a little more than what they have. Well, actually, not a little, a lot more than what they have. And they have to say, kind of spell it out. Well, if coming together and talking about stuff is part of the conspiracy, how is that? How do you overcome the presumption that it's just mere speech? If they had paragraphs in there that said they got together and they planned before to get together to tortuously hurt Jeremy Hales, and it's cover for and they're going on YouTube is cover for their criminal enterprise, and actually it overcomes the First Amendment presumption for these reasons and this, that, and the other thing, then it is what it is.
All right, let's read the next paragraph. Luthmann knew of the scheme and assisted in it for all of the acts and all the defendants co-conspired, including engaging unconscionable, unfair, and deceptive acts or practice to defend established public policy and are immoral, unethical, oppressive, unscrupulous, or substantially injurious to consumers, that are likely to deceive a consumer acting reasonably in the same circumstances, and that caused injury or detriment to consumers, making false or misleading descriptions of facts or false or misleading representations of facts, that in commercial advertising or promotion misrepresented the characteristics, qualities, and reputation of Hales in commercial activities, and despite knowledge of the customer's contractual and business relationship with Hales, intentionally without valid justification interfered in such relationships. He says, I don't know what he means by this. I don't know what any of this means. Do you know what any of this means?
I don't know what it means, but I think they have to go in and be a little more specific before you can tell them what the hell's going on there. So,
these are pretty remarkable. Luthmann published numerous sexually explicit images of Mr. Hales via online. Probably not illegal. You can, thank you to Larry Flint, you can publish sexually explicit images, especially for mockery. By disseminating the intimate images, Luthmann intended to cause substantial emotional distress to Hales. Mr. Hales was subjected to harassment, experienced fear, endured extreme embarrassment, lost professional.
I have to fuck her so she obeys me. I don't give a shit about having sex with beautiful women. I fuck them to me so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do. When I watch a Bond film and I see him basically pimp a bitch, to me that speaks to my heart. I've been there. I've done that. Anyone who's followed me long enough knows that I've made my $1 million with a webcam business. I have met beautiful women with good personality and thought, she will make me money. I have to fuck this bitch. I don't want to have sex with her. I just need the money. Won't you take me to Funky Town? Won't you take me to Funky Town? Won't you take me to Funky Town?
What do you have in your mouth? What is that?
If that's what caused you to lose business, I'm sorry, but you were actually allowed to make funny videos of him acting in sexual manners. And if you don't believe me, Jeremy JN and your lawyer, you guys should both watch the movie The People versus Larry Flint. I'd tell you to read the book, but come on, who are we kidding? As a result of Luthmann's violation of this statute, Hales is entitled to demands all appropriate relief, including injunctive relief, prohibiting Luthmann from engaging in further cybersexual harassment and ordering Luthmann to destroy all copies of sexually explicit material. And he goes on. I would love to defend this lawsuit, but I can't. This is not just a joke. It's an embarrassment. Frankly, if Shaka isn't held to some form of sanction for bringing this forward, especially after the judge warned him that this was frivolous, he brought an equally frivolous lawsuit in the amended lawsuit as the original lawsuit, even after being warned that it was a frivolous lawsuit.
That's a joke. It really is. This is it's, and I'm gonna have fun defending this. You're 100% right, Mike, because I don't think there's any world in American world that this thing could fly. This is just so beyond the pale of our justice system and our free speech jurisprudence and everything else. It's out of control. It really is. And nothing, you've seen this stuff. Well, you said it before. What I've put together is crass, right? But it's not pornography. It's actually.
Well, if you put together pornography, that's allowed. And as I said, Larry Flint died for your sins. You didn't do anything that Larry Flint didn't do 100 times more extreme and more provocative. And Jerry Falwell sued him, and the Supreme Court said, this is satire, it's protected, you have no case. What you did to Hales is mild compared to the mockery that Flint did to Falwell. And Falwell did sue, and Flint won because Flint understands the First Amendment better than almost anyone, sadly as it is, that a pornographer understands the First Amendment. But this is all protected. There's a body of case law that shows it. Now, we're going to talk about my former friend, Megan Fox, who I believe has sent out a team of astroturfers, and I'm going to show you the evidence that I have developed. We're going to start with a random tweet. She is Justice for Mary. Mary Lincoln's. That name sounds familiar. You remember Mary? She's got a husband named Chester. And here's Megan promoting her Rogue Mama. This is a Twitter account that constantly posts on all of my posts all the time. Megan Volpe assumed that this is somebody that's like satire of Megan. She also constantly posts on all of my stuff. So those are three of the astroturfers, but one tweet, how much evidence is that? That's not that big a deal, right? Well, let's see what else I found, because that's not the only tweet that I found. But so here is, and I had a lot of these paused or muted, so this is when I broke the story about her accusing Michelle Preston, one of the defendants, of Munchausen syndrome by proxy, where she used, Megan, that is, my former friend Megan, used an anonymous source who claimed that the metabolic disorder was bogus because this anonymous source was close to Michelle and her son had the same metabolic disorder and she wasn't treating it right. And all based on this anonymous source, she suggested that Michelle had Munchausen syndrome by proxy. So look at this. Rosalind Duke, we'll get to her in a minute. She any tweet I do, it's her job to say something negative about the tweet. I don't know who this is. Megan Volpe, Jay Hip. He emails us. He tweets at us. He's got a YouTube channel mocking us. This person I didn't have muted, so I responded. And and here, one more. The Rogue Mama again. So these are like the collection of astroturfers, but you guys probably are not convinced yet. Right? You're probably not convinced that these are really astroturfers. So let me show you what else I have found. The YouTube channel of Rosalind Duke. Now, she had, if you go back, like here's one that's anti-Hales. There's some anti-Hales stuff, but if you look at it, starting with this one about a month and a half ago, and who's George? That's when they make fun of me because I didn't know that Hales' girlfriend is named George. Starting with these, she starts to amp up her. Yeah, here's another one about me. That's about Lisa. So she starts to amp up the like pro Hales stuff. Oh, and then look at this. This is an important one right here. A couple of weeks ago, breaking. Oh no, yeah, breaking federal judge Googles himself. That's about you, where you said that Magistrate Zachary Bolitho was probably. You didn't even say he was Googling himself. You said that you believe that news stories about him wound up on Google, and that's why you thought he might be changing his mind. But in relation to this story, who reached out to you? Was it Rosalind or was it someone else?
In this one, wasn't it Jay Hip?
Yeah, it was Jay Hip. So Jay Hip asks you questions, and then Rosalind writes, does a video about it. But I find this very interesting. So let me just show you a few things here. So so right here, she was trying out shows. So one of them was Election Nights with Squid Pro Quo, whoever that is, and Rogue Mama. So they must know each other. I bet if one was recruited, then another one was. So here, she tried another show. They're not getting that many views, but then she tries this show. Tell Me Everything. She gets almost 3,000 views, right? So that's working out well. Look at episode 2. The DUI guy. Do you know who is good friends with the DUI guy?
Is it Megan Fox?
Yes, they appear on each other's streams. She promotes him, he promotes her. He does a lot of work on the Hales thing. They're good buddies. Do you want to guess who the third? That's episode 2. You know who the guest for episode 3 was?
Who was the guest, Mike?
Well, let's find out. Megan Fox herself. Must be a nice coincidence. So look, she's got episode 4 and episode 5 all laid out. Nick Rekieta, Megan and Nick met up when they were both doing the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. They've been friends since. Rekieta has a fall from grace. He was found with a bunch of drugs in his house with his kids in his house. Megan wrote a letter to the judge, which I think is admirable because a lot of his friends left him. But be that as it may, you think that's a coincidence, or do you think Megan recruited this guy? Do you think it's possible that Megan, in response to Rosalind doing negative things about me, is acting as the, say, executive producer / booker on her new show, which suddenly gets like 4,000 views, whereas everything else gets like a few hundred? And I don't know who this guy is, so maybe Rosalind recruited him herself, but I got one more thing to show you. All right, so this is the posts from Megan. And they start about a month and a half ago. Look, she's promoting Jay Hip. She's promoting Jay Hip. Larry's back. That's the DUI guy. No, yeah, that's the DUI guy. She's promoting the DUI guy. That's they know each other. She's promoting Rosalind Duke. She's promoting Rosalind Duke. So right around the time that Rosalind Duke decided to do anti-Mike Volpe pro Hales stuff, Megan starts promoting. I'm sure quite coincidentally, right? Rosalind Duke again, right? Hold on. There's more. Oh, now she's promoting Jay Hip. Must be a coincidence right there. That's DUI guy. She promotes him. They're friends. But wait, there's more. There she's promoting herself on Rosalind's show.
God, Mike.
Wait, who's this? Vice Baby. Isn't that the guest for episode 5 of Rosalind's show? Wait a minute. That is Megan's good friend, Vice Baby. She is the executive producer / booker for Rosalind Duke's new show. And all Rosalind has to do has put out some content against me and against you, and Megan and her 50,000 subscribers are at the beck and call for Rosalind's not new YouTube channel, but for her YouTube channel. See,
so are you calling her? Is she a media booker or a media hooker? Which one is it?
But wait. Look at this. Bruce from Oregon is catching up on who?
Mary Lincoln.
Oh my God, it's a small world. Megan, you recruited these astroturfers to go after me. And in exchange for them going after me, oh, and look, and here she's promoting J Hip. And J Hip, he started with zero. He, like 2 months ago, he didn't have a YouTube channel. Now he's got 2,500 subscribers. And it's because Megan is promoting him. All right. And none of this is real. All right. None of these people know me or you. None of these people know anything about us. They are told to criticize us, to insult us. And in exchange, their currency is subscribers. And this works on down from Hales. Hales has almost 750,000 subscribers. Why do you think that Megan is so effusive towards him? Because the more effusive she is, the more times he puts her on the show, the more times he promotes her. It's in effect, it's an AstroTurf campaign.
Mm-hmm. That's
Do
what
you
we got,
agree?
Mike, you proved it. I cannot do any better than you with the QED proof. You've shown the financial motivations. You've shown the actual connection. You've shown the quid pro quo. This will. I'm not saying it would. This will stand in a court of law.
All right. So I did want to say, now this came out, this email came out before we talked about all the evidence, but check this out. I did want to note that Mary disagrees. Poor, dear, sweet summer child, Michael. I just opened your email. It took me a while because I accidentally clicked my calendar and ended up in 2021, but I got there. You sent me a photograph of Bruce from Oregon's YouTube show as if that's some kind of Sherlock Holmes aha moments. Sugar Britches Bruce has been covering me since Ron Owen's daughter's pregnancy case, the one who claimed she was pregnant from fellatio, and he's doing a fine job. I might add, he even made a whole playlist dedicated to my martini drinking. She goes on. I didn't send her a screenshot of her appearing on Bruce's show. I sent her a screenshot of Megan promoting her appearing on Bruce's show. All of you people know each other. Megan recruited you. She doesn't like me. If I want to criticize Megan or I want to attack her, or I want to write an article negative for her, I'll do it. She can't do that. So she recruits these scummy people like Rosalind Duke and Jay Hip who are obscure, and she tantalizes them with the opportunity to be promoted by her and eventually by Jeremy Hales themselves. This is basically like multi-level marketing or the Mafia. All right. Megan's the capo. Hales is the boss. These people are soldiers, and if they prove themselves, then she's going to keep promoting them. If they prove themselves enough, Hales will put them on his show, and in about 6 months, Jay Hip will have 20,000 subscribers. Rosalind Duke will have 30,000 subscribers. Megan will make sure to recruit popular YouTubers. This guy Foreman, the DUI guy's got 100,000 subscribers. I don't know how many Rekieta has now. He had 700,000. I don't think he lost them all. He's got a bunch. Megan herself has 50,000. I don't know how much that other guy has, but basically she's going to create a show where she interviews popular YouTubers. She doesn't know, Rosalind, that is, any popular YouTubers. Megan does. And all Rosalind has to do in exchange is say mean, nasty things about me. And Rosalind doesn't mind doing that. Am I wrong?
Mike, you've hit the nail on the head. This is this is what we have. This is a social media astroturfing campaign. But this is their business model, though. It's more than just an astroturfing campaign. This is how they make money. They make money from views and clicks, and that's what they need. They need viewers, and they need clicks, and they need watches, and they need tips, and they need everything else. And this is how they farm it. We're going a deep dive into the underbelly of the YouTube farming mechanism, and this is the modus operandi of how these people operate.
Yeah, and I think I've shown it.